Then you have Rousseau, ironically, ironically also the father of absolutist government, father of dictatorship. Is it not irony? The father of democracy is also father of dictatorship. At the same time, Rousseau's thoughts are so comprehensive in a way and so complex and so multifaceted that over the next few decades in different era, people extracted different meanings out of it. So जब socialism आ रहा था, people saw socialism in his thought. When there was dictatorship, people saw that in his thought. When democracy was becoming important, people saw that in his thought. So people derived those meanings out of his writing. उसने खुद ये कोई टर्म इस्तेमाल नहीं किया कि सोशलिज्म लेके आओ ना, उसने कुछ नहीं बोला. The term even did not exist at that time. So in case of absolutism, despite that irony, he argued that general will represents the collective interest of the people, right? And the individuals who oppose the general will are opposing it because they don't understand what is their real interest. उनको खुद समझ नहीं आता उनका actual interest किस चीज में है, तो general will में है. So if you are opposing it, we will force you to be free. And that is an irony. He says a man should be forced to be free. That is the crux of the reason general will goes to become dictatorial, authoritarian. I'll explain how. I will explain how. The notion implies that, forced to be free notion, that those who go against the common interest should be compelled to conform, suggesting a form of authoritarianism. So let us see. In his view, all the laws should be passed unanimously because it is direct democracy. But practically it was not possible, and to overcome this he talks of general will. Now according to him, we all have more than one desire. There are two types of our wills or desires. एक will जो होता है, that is inferior desire, कि भाई मेरे लिए ये चाहिए, मुझे वो चाहिए, individual specific, स्वार्थी किस्म की. And other is superior or sublime desire, sublime will, कि हम सबका भला चाहते, सबके भले में हमारा भला है. In everybody's happiness is our happiness. We want good for everybody. That is our own superior will. And that will, when brought together of everybody, becomes general will. General will is not the aggregate of inferior desire. General will is the aggregate of sublime will. So if an individual at any point of time focuses more on his personal inferior desire, then the community has right to force him to be free and realize कि भाई देख तेरा ही sublime will ये नहीं है वो है. How will that happen? People will get educated. People will become enlightened, and that will happen. If it doesn't happen, करवाएंगे. So you see absolutism. So in any law, if any law is in conformity with this general will, we must accept it. Whether we like it or not like it, we have to accept it because it is for general will. So by respecting general will, we respect our own wishes. In this way, we can achieve our freedom, because the freedom can be protected in a community formed on general will, where there is morality and place for emotion and freedom. So if we disregard this general will, we can lose our freedom. Those who reject the general will should be compelled by force to accept general will. अब ये कौन करेगा? Is it minority or majority? If a majority is going with, majority will not decide general will. General will is an abstract thing. It's not representative democracy where 90 versus 10, 80 versus 20. No. Even one single person, if he is embodying general will, he can suppress everybody else. It is okay. Because what is the idea of general will? उसको समझ में आई, बाकी समझ में नहीं आई. So Rousseau is in a way supporting dictator. समझ में आया? So importance of community. He proposed that true liberty could only be achieved through participation in the formation of laws that reflect the common interest. This required the individuals to set aside their personal desire in favor of what best is for the community. ठीक है? Inferior desire को अलग रखो, focus on sublime desire. If you don't focus, we will make you focus on that. Secondly, while Rousseau recognized the importance of individual will, he argued that true freedom will only be attained within a just and harmonious society where the general will prevails. Thus, Rousseau questioned the assumption that the majority will is always correct. He argued that the goal of government should be to secure freedom equality and justice for all within the state, regardless of will of the majority. Even an individual could also be the carrier of general will. So after French Revolution, when Maximilian Robespierre comes, he says, I am representing general will. तो हर दिन सैकड़ों लोगों को, every day hundreds of people are put on guillotine, they are killed, they are executed. Why? General will. So Rousseau becomes god of dictator who is murderous also. So as Karl Marx should not be held up, इसमें conclusion क्या? If UPSC asks you these questions directly, that Rousseau's thought led to the creation of authoritarianism. तो हमें conclude करते समय रूसो को जिम्मेदार नहीं ठहराना. रूसो इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर हाउ हिज थॉट्स वेर यूज्ड बाय अदर्स एंड एग्जीक्यूटेड. उसने तो कुछ कला ही नहीं था. So if you say कि स्टालिन डिड परचेस, स्टालिनिस्ट परचेस टू किल मिलियंस ऑफ पीपल, तो इसके लिए जिम्मेदार द रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन इज कार्ल मार्क्स. इज इट राइट टू थिंक सो? से कार्ल मार्क्स डिड नॉट किल देम. सिमिलरली ग्रेट लीडर्स आर ग्रेट पॉलिटिशियंस जो होते हैं, दे हैव देयर ऑटोनॉमी, दे हैव देयर ओन agency. So what they do as good or bad is not the responsibility of some thinker back then. So if Stalin's purges के लिए कार्ल मार्क्स जिम्मेदार नहीं है, similarly for what Robespierre did in 1791, 1792 by executing thousands of people, guillotining them, Rousseau is not responsible. This is how we conclude the issue. So if Karl Marx should not be held guilty for Stalinist purges, similarly, Rousseau should not be held responsible for Robespierre's cruelty. Even though Rousseau's ideas played a role unwillingly in the development of authoritarianism, we should remember he is also the one who created popular sovereignty and created modern democracy. So this is the counterpoint also. You should not be selective in reading one paragraph and neglecting other paragraph of his writing. Okay? Concept clear? Any doubt? Robespierre is a leader in France after French Revolution. इसको हम पढ़ेंगे बाद में. In 1791-92, he is the one who created radical Jacobinism and radical democracy. He was very cruel also. So fundamental idea of Rousseau is that since the time of Plato, most of the thinkers in the West are suspicious of the possibility of democracy. Rousseau is the first one who say it is possible, mumkin hai. So he believes in people. उसने ground shift कर दिया पूरा. ठीक है. Let me see if you have. Now there is a question that is asked sometimes about Rousseau's thoughts contain the seed of democracy, of socialism and absolutism. Discuss. No, actually I have given you 3 different paragraphs, and there you have all the arguments. For example, in socialism, we discussed 3-4 different arguments like inequality, private property, community, etc. So those additional arguments are there. But amongst all these, let us say for democracy, I give you 2 arguments. For socialism, I give you 5 arguments. For socialism, I give you 2 arguments. I have given all of them, already discussed also in detail. But amongst all these different arguments, one thing is common to all of them, that is general will. So general will is a concept which is multifaceted. It has multiple aspects, and different aspects of general will in the 19th century later on led to those different political ideologies. For example, in democracy, the focus is on popular sovereignty. This comes from general will. It lies with the people. In the case of socialism, it comes from focus on common good, power of community. That also is there in general will. General will kiska hai? Community ka hai. And then in case of absolutism, focus is on authority of state, because man should be forced to be free. This is an important phrase. Forced to be free, that is the basis. That also comes from general will only. Your inferior will not be allowed. Your real freedom, मैं आपको बताऊंगा आपका असली फ्रीडम किसमें है. So different interpretations of Rousseau's ideas come.